All right, all right. What's going on, family? What's going on, family? T Speaks here. What's going on? Good to see you guys. Hey, so I wanted to talk very briefly about three things that you absolutely do or don't do, depending on how you look at it, when you fail to start your own business. And a lot of people might, they feel like, hey, why start my own business? I'm good. I got a job. I'm making some money. Able to go places. Able to do the things like, pay a mortgage, put your kids through school. And don't get me wrong. It is good to be able to do those things. But there are some specific things that you don't do when you keep a job and you fail to open your own business. And notice, I never say, can you open your own business? Because you absolutely can. But there's people, and we'll get into that another time, that they don't actually feel like they can. They oftentimes, for some reason, look at other people like they're better than they are. Look at other people as if they're smarter than they are. Look at other people as if they've gotten an opportunity, or they were born the right color, or they were born in the right place. When the truth be told, none of those things really matter. When you start your own business, none of them, it's almost, if you will, an equal playing field. And I know that some people may argue that point, but like I said, we'll get into that another time. But let's talk about these three things that you don't do, or that you in fact do when you won't start your own business. You won't. Because I believe that everyone has kind of like an indication inside of them, things that they would like to do, things that they feel like they should be doing, but they don't initiate it. They don't do it for whatever reason. One of the clear things that you do, and you may not look at it like this, but let's just take the gloves off. You give someone else control of your life. The first thing you do, you give your boss control of your life. They decide basically what you can have and what you cannot have. I don't know if that sits well with you, but it doesn't, and it did not with me. Because of the simple fact, it seemed like it was something wrong with looking at someone else to provide everything for me. When in essence, I should be doing that for myself. I have the capabilities, I thought, to absolutely do what anyone else is doing. Given enough time, given enough resources. And this is the thing, so can you. You can do anything that your boss did. The only thing your boss did differently, I'm telling you, the only thing they did differently than you do is they thought on a different level. They thought to themselves, how can they use this in order to get there? As opposed to perhaps you thought, how can you do this in order to get here? Big difference. Your bosses and company owners, they think in broader strokes. They think in terms of becoming, like, fixing an issue that society is having and finding people to implement that. So they don't never, I was just speaking to someone the other day, and they were talking about, hey, they want to start working with their hands to get a job. And I thought to myself, wow, you're already signing up out the gate. You're just starting off to be, in fact, a worker. So most people's mind, believe it or not, we are not programmed from the infancy stage to actually think like entrepreneurs. We are even told to go to school to be a good worker. When you fail to open your business, you literally give someone else the responsibility of you. And I've said that before. You put someone in charge of you. You absolutely kind of might as well put handcuffs on, because that's in essence what you do. You give them the full responsibility of you. Whether they want to discard you, they can. Whether they want to come in. It's almost like, if you will, being a child all over again. Like my children, I'm responsible for them completely. I'm responsible for what they wear. In a paycheck, you get paid. You buy the nice clothes or don't. I'm responsible for what my children eat, because I go get the food according to what they like. A boss will pay you, and they can decide whether you go to the nice restaurant or you go to a regular substandard or par restaurant, depending on basically what you're getting paid. I decide where my children are going. When we want to go out, we go out. We want to go on, quote unquote, we want to go on a trip. I decide what trip, and I take them. Although I have them in mind, it is ultimately my responsibility. So your boss decides where you can go and where you can't go based on the money that they give you. So no matter what you do during a year, whatever period of time that your scale is monitored to see how well you did, it doesn't matter. You won't get any more during the year. You ever notice that? that as you work as hard as you can for the entire year, and it doesn't matter, you can knock the cover off the ball consistently, and you can get every project, and you waited an entire 364 days to hear the result of what you did. And of course, something that I've done in January, you're not going to realize it and think that hard and feel like I've done that well in December. Because there's 11 something months in between there. It's just too much time. So the force of what I did it with, you're no longer going to feel it as if like, wow. And even if they did, will they really give you what you deserve? So that's one of the things that you basically do. You have to think about it. You make someone else your leader. I want to say your master. It is absolutely, you become whatever they want you to become. You do whatever it is they want you to do. Or I want you to stay late. What are you going to do? Quit and say no? You're going to stay late. I want you to come in early. What are you going to do? Quit and say no? You're going to come in early. You're going to complain maybe if you go smoke a cigarette downstairs, or you go to the bathroom, or you're coming in with someone else. You're going to complain with other people who are basically under the same subjection, under the same rule, if you will. So basically, we have a commonality. You gave him control of your life, and I gave him control of my life. But that's not the best way to have a life. Second thing that you do when you fail to open up your own business, the second thing you do is you deny yourself the possibility of having real financial security without a degree of what you can't do, or without having a cap, or without having a limit. There is no limit when you become your own boss, when you become an entrepreneur. There's really no limit on how many times you can take a lead, convert them, how many times you can scale your business, whether you go 10x or you do 20x or 100x. There is the only limitation that you place on yourself is you. But when you fail to open and start your own business, you put a limit on your financial capabilities for good, period. There's always going to be a cap. You will never go beyond so much. It's almost like the number one thing, but it's like the first one, they can get you to do anything basically. The second one is your financial means, your capabilities, what you can do is limited to what that person and how they feel about you. They had a bad day, they give you less money. They had a good day, they give you a little bit more. That's not, you limit yourself. And I want to put an addendum to that, because what you also do is you deny yourself the satisfaction of being able to look in the mirror and say you did it. You started your own business. You had a thought, you did what you had to do, and you made it a reality, and you're able to live off of that reality. That is, in essence, something that only entrepreneurs can give themselves. I did it. You fail to give yourself not only the benefit, the accolades that you deserve when you start your own business, when you decide to work on a job. It may not sound like a lot, but you ever notice somebody that says, hey, they have a high self-esteem? Well, I've read somewhere, and I think it's a good point. People who have a high self-esteem are really those individuals who haven't done enough to be esteemed by others. I'll say that again. People who have a high self-esteem, oh yes, I'm this and I'm that. Those are typically the people who have not, in fact, done anything noteworthy to be esteemed by others. Because, come on, face it, what's better? Me clapping for myself or everyone else clapping? I'll wait. You tell me, because I would rather have the accolades of my people that I associate with, people that I identify with, those around me, those when I walk out on the stage, those that are saying, wow, T Speaks, you did it. You're this person, you're that. As opposed to looking in the mirror and puffing myself up on not a fictitious fact, but something that I haven't really done to that degree. And instead, it just looks like that. I make myself feel like that. But you basically deny yourself. You deny yourself that when you fail to start your own business, you absolutely deny yourself that part of being esteemed by others, being able to look in the mirror and say, you did it. Not to mention, you deny your family, your children, to be able to look at you. I was talking to somebody recently, and they were saying how they wanted their child to do this. And I said, wait a minute. Instead of telling your child what to do, show your child what to do. Those that have kids, those that even young adults or regular adults or little adolescents or whatever the case may be, you deny your children the benefit of seeing you in a different regard. Yes, you're their parent, But in terms of, are you their hero for what they saw you do and not just what you talked about doing or what they should do? Experience is your best teacher. How in the world can I ask my sons to be entrepreneurs, to basically own their own business, start to scale up, and Dad, you show me how to do it. You're saying it, but you're sitting on the sofa and you're waiting to go back into Mr. Fred's job tomorrow. You're saying to be an entrepreneur, but why didn't you? In other words, how can you believe this for yourself? For me, but you don't believe it for yourself. When you fail to start, and I know I'm giving you guys more value, I'm giving you a lot more than 3. When you fail to open and start your own business and be an entrepreneur, you deny yourself and your family, and most of all, your children who are watching you. You deny them the right to see you in a different regard and to emulate your moves. So what's the best thing you're going to be able to teach your child when you're working on the job? How to be a good employee. Sad to say, how to be a good employee. That's pretty much it. Maybe even a supervisor, but they're still being an employee. Give your child the best example. And I like to say it like this. My children will never look at another man outside of my house and feel as if that man is better than their father. They are never going to look and go, wow, Dad, he's the man and you're just Dad. I am going to be their hero. I am going to be the best example. I'm the closest example to them. I am the one that should be able to shape and mold them from my words and my deeds. But when you work on a job and don't own your own business, you can't do that. You can't do that. And whether you have the child or not, or just someone that you're pouring into or someone that you have influence over, people are always watching. Better to show something by doing it as opposed to tell something and not doing it. The last thing, family, that I want to say that you basically are doing, now this may not sound like a lot, but when you fail to open your own business, when you fail to start your own business, when you fail to take a step of faith and step out there and launch your own business with the thoughts and ideas you have, what you're in essence doing is you're sinning. If I tell my sons to do something and they fail to do it, they're being disobedient, right? Of course. When God told man, all of us in Genesis, to be fruitful and multiply. Multiply does not, and it's also, he did say replenish the earth. Multiply yourself, meaning create those like you with the same mindset, with the same structure, with the same life. When you fail to be an entrepreneur, let's face this. Who are you coaching? Who are you helping to be different? Who are you showing this is what you become? This is what you should do? No one. You're basically leading yourself. And as we said in the first one, you're not even really leading yourself. You're being led. It's a sin to disobey God and do something, not do something that he told you to do. He told all of us to be fruitful and multiply ourselves, duplicate yourselves, that which he gave us. We have the essence of God in us when we became a living soul. When he breathed in us, we became a living soul, which means, what does that mean? We have the same ability that God has. Why? Because of the essence that lives within us. It is not to the full extent, but he definitely gave each one of us enough to duplicate ourselves, how we think, how we move, our work discipline. Those are in businesses. Those are characteristics of an owner, not someone that's just working. Because when you're working, what are you doing? Okay, sure. Yep, I'll get right on that. Sure, I'll take care of that. Not a problem. Honey, can't stay. I can't come. Got to stay late. Kids, I got to miss this because Mr. Johnson said I have to do this. That's pretty much how the way it goes. You know, it's sad, but it's true. So these are the things that you basically forfeit or do not do and cannot have when you fail to start your own business. What am I saying? That maybe it's time to consider starting your own business. You won't regret it. Will it be hard? Probably as hard as it was for your boss to do it. But you see, he's successful. He has you as a worker. That's simple. I'm T Speaks. If anything I've said resonates with you, if you feel as if something has gotten on your nerves, something has moved you, quite possibly it is you, and maybe you should be doing something, put me a comment below. Let me know. Like this, certainly share this. If you don't mind, why don't you hit the subscribe button? Because I'll have much more content to get you where I believe and I know that you can be. And until you believe enough in you, I will be there for you to believe in you. And you guys know what I always say. Change your mind, change your life. I'm T Speaks.